everyone. Welcome to program to Know Spiritism number 130. I'm Geraldo Lemos Neto, and I'm here with Marco Gandra from Portal Saber Espiritismo in Belo Horizonte, Brazil. We are transmitting live for Kardec Radio, Spiritism Dissemination, and DSN, Discovery Spiritism Network. Tonight, we are proceeding to a study the subject of the messages that Allan Kardec himself received from the transitional time, the time of transitory periods where Earth is going to be a regeneration planet. And before that, we feel and understand that we still live in a world of trials and sufferings. Tonight, we see on chapter 18 of the last book of Allan Kardec, the Genesis, the Miracles and Predictions according to Spiritism, at the item 9 that was introduced in the 5th edition on the communication, the message by the spirit of Dr. Barry, an English doctor that participated in the Napoleon Wars and wrote to Allan Kardec. First, his message was published in the Spiritist Review. Let's see what Dr. Barry teaches us. He wrote, "Yes, indeed, humankind is being transformed, just as it has been transformed in other periods, in other epochs. And each transformation is marked by a turning point, which, for the human species, is what the turning point in growth is for the individual. These crises, frequently painful and dolorous, carry generations and institutions along with them, but are always followed by a phase of material and moral progress." So he is confirming that yes, indeed, the humankind and Earth is being transformed, and it has reached a period or a epoch of great transformation. And this epoch is a turning point, similar of those that we as human beings experience when we change, when we grew, when we have our own transformations. And Earth as a whole and humankind as a whole also experience those types of turning points. First, of course, it is a crisis, and all crisis frequently brings pain and dolorous feelings, because as we left childhood behind, we have to forget everything about childhood and face our youth. When we leave our youth behind, we must leave everything related to, young age and face maturity. And so that humankind as a whole also experience those time of pain and dolorous times, because it is growing, it is evolving. And that's why this kind of transformations always carry on also generations and institutions and transform them along with its whole transformation. But after the crisis and after the pain that we all face, there will be a time of material and also moral progress. That's what the spirit of Dr. Berry is teaching Allan Kardec. And so he continues, the spirit world that surrounds you feels the repercussions of all the turmoil that disturbs the world of incarnates. I would even say that it plays an active part on it. This should come as no surprise to those who know that spirits make a part of humanity, that they come from humankind and must return. Consequently, it is natural that they would have an interest in the movements that occur among human beings. Now, we could see that the spirit of Dr. Berry is teaching Allan Kardec that this kind of turmoil, transformation, is also happening in the spiritual world. And that could not be a surprise for us, because all this Gandra, Gandra, a, o seu coisa está aberto, o seu som está aberto. And this is not a surprise for us, because all the disconnect beings and the disconnect plans of living is also part of humankind, is also part of our human or terrestrial collective being. And so we also understand that the spirits are pretty much interested in the transformation of the transitory times that we live in, because they will be incarnate again, so that they must be interested in their own futures. And of course, they came from Earth, and so that they are also interested in their relatives around those times. So consequently, it is natural that they would have an interest in these movements that occurs mainly on Earth. And then the spirit of Dr. Berry tells us, you can be sure, therefore, that when a social revolution occurs on the earth, it also impacts the invisible world. All the good and all the evil passions become overexcited there in the invisible world, just as they do amongst you. An unspoken turbulence reigns among the spirits who still make up part of your world and who await the time to return to it. So here we can see that Dr. Berry is teaching Allan Kardec that the spirits in the spiritual world, in the spiritual realm, that are most close to the terrestrial life, they are also involved in the evil passions, and they are also overexcited about those revolutions, those social unrest and wars and all kinds of sufferings that is part of this transformational time, but also the spirits that live in higher plans are most related to the good feelings, to the inspirational feelings that they come to influence us to the good, to the knowledge, to the truth, to love. And so that also in the spiritual realm, they feel those turbulence and those uh, difficult times of transformation. And to end this message by the spirit of Dr. Barry, we have also this saying: to the disturbances of incarnates and discarnates sometimes, very frequently actually, since everything in nature is linked together, are added the disturbances of the physical elements. So after we experience all the disturbances, spiritual disturbances, also emotional disturbances, uh, political, social, philosophical, religious, all kinds of disturbances that occurs on earth in that time. It is also understood that in those times of disturbances, it is also linked another kind of disturbances, that is the disturbances of the physical elements. So the earth became also unstable and experienced also many disturbances, like they had it experiences more earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes that erupt, all climate change, all kinds of physical disturbances that affects the life on Earth. And then the spirit of Dr. Barry closed his arguments. Then, for a while, there is a true widespread confusion that passes like a hurricane, but after which the sky returns to being serene and humankind reconstituted upon new foundations and imbued with new ideas enters a new phase on the road of progress. It is in this period that has just opened that one will see Spiritism flourish and bring forth fruit. So, after these great disturbances that occurs in the transformational time, in this transitory time that we are living in, we will have a time in which the sky returns to being serene, and a time where humankind are reconstituted upon new foundations. It will be a time where new ideas enters a phase in the road of progress to all humankind. New ideas of philosophy, new ideas on science, new ideas on religion, and we will come together as a whole, as a one nation, one uh, brotherhood, understanding that we are a family, that we must love each other as brothers and sisters. And will be a time where no wars will have again. We will have again no wars. It will be a time of peace and understanding. And this is also the period of time here on earth when we enter the regenerational time that Spiritism will flourish and bring forth fruit, not only in Brazil and Portugal or some other places that Spiritism has already flourished, but it will flourish all over the world. And therefore, Dr. Berry concludes, it is for the future more than for the present that you labor. He is referring, of course, of Allan Kardec's labor, and also all of us, all of our own labor in the Spiritist movement. It is for the future, he said, more than for the present that you labor. But it was necessary for these labors to be prepared beforehand, because they trace out the pathways of regeneration through the unification and rationality of beliefs. That's the pathway where we all will be in the near future. The pathway that was prepared by Spiritism, by the third revelation, by the Consoler sent by our dear Lord Jesus Christ. The pathway to regeneration, where we will feel a need and an urgent to unification and rationality of all beliefs. And then Dr. Berry closes, fortunate are they who take advantage of them as of today. So we are much fortunate to know Spiritism beforehand, before all the humankind will know in the near future. And that's true for almost 170, 180 years. So God be blessed for these, because we already know what will come, the future of humanity, what will be the future of religions, the future of philosophies, and the future of sciences altogether in the time of regeneration. I hope you enjoyed our talk today, and I see you next week with the program to Know Spiritism number 131. Have you all a very good night. Bye-bye.